tonight. Rider fans cheer their team on to the 112th Grey Cup in Winnipeg. WestJet cancels a Saskatoon family's tickets because their daughter's wheelchair weighs too much. And we meet a 91-year-old Saskatchewan veteran who recalls his time serving in 2 separate wars.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, November 10th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. Rider Nation has been waiting for years, and now the green and white are heading to the Grey Cup. The Riders pulled off a victory over the BC Lions in the Western Final on Saturday, and as Jeffrey Tram reports, it was a game to remember.
14 seconds until we find out.
It was a battle that went down to the wire after trailing the BC Lions for much of Saturday's Western Final.
Harris, end zone.
This touchdown from Tommy Neal gave the Riders the lead in the final minutes of the game and ultimately secured the Green and White's trip to the Grey Cup.
It's just a super exciting moment, thankful to be put in that position, and that's a play you dream about making.
The game wasn't without its dramatic moments. Midway through the fourth quarter, head coach Corey Mace made a risky decision to go for a field goal instead of a game-tying touchdown just 5 yards from BC's end zone. It's a decision Mace stands by, even though fans were less than impressed.
Well, I understand. I totally get it. Just have faith, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Just have faith, you know.
Now, the Riders find themselves on the CFL's biggest stage, a feat the team hasn't accomplished since 2013, when they won the 101st Grey Cup at home. It's something fans are looking forward to.
We are very excited. We're very, very proud of the team and what they've accomplished all year. You know, they've overcome a lot of injuries, and you know, we're just very, very proud.
Fans gathered at Mosaic Stadium Monday to wish the team well before leaving for Winnipeg, something Mace says they'll cherish as they hit the road.
We appreciate you guys every day. Today's certainly a special one, but hopefully we can pack this place a little bit more on the way back. What you think?
The Riders' next task will be preparing for the Montreal Alouettes in the 112th Grey Cup. Kickoff at Princess Auto Stadium is set for 5 p.m. on Sunday. Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
A Saskatoon family is frustrated after WestJet canceled their tickets due to the size of their daughter's electric wheelchair. Helena Mahalik reports.
Georgia Nataraj attends her piano lessons after a busy day at school. The 8th grader says she's been looking forward to a relaxing trip to Mexico with her family during February break. Georgia was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy when she was just 18 months old. She uses a 440-pound wheelchair with special features designed to help ease tension in her muscles and spine. She's flown with WestJet in and out of Saskatoon, using her chair for years. But now, the airline has canceled the family's Mexico flights, claiming Georgia's wheelchair exceeds its 300-pound weight limit.
I don't know, I was kind of a little bit sad that we weren't gonna go if we couldn't find a different way to get there.
WestJet told Georgia's father, Richard, that handling a wheelchair of that weight is unsafe for the staff handling it, and it puts the chair at risk. The family's only options is to catch a flight out of Calgary or Toronto with WestJet or switch to another airline. The family appreciates that WestJet has discounts for people traveling with a disability, but they say they're confused about why the rules have changed now.
As recently as 8 months ago, we were flying on WestJet out of Saskatoon with Georgia's chair. And so to hear that they're now refusing to take her chair on was disheartening, yeah.
WestJet declined CBC's request for an interview, but explained in a statement that these rules have been in place as early as 2023. Still, Georgia has flown with WestJet, using her chair as recently as April of this year. In February, the family will make the 8-hour drive to Calgary to catch a bigger WestJet plane that can accommodate George's chair.
It was really weird because I feel like that rule, it's like not really like true. Like, I don't know. Like, if they're saying like it's too heavy, well, they just did it like a couple months ago, so why is it too heavy now?
Despite the confusion, the Nataraj family is hopeful. This opens a wider conversation about accessibility on airlines. They're calling on Transport Canada to look into this issue further, so people outside Toronto and Calgary can travel on WestJet planes with heavier wheelchairs. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
3 people have been arrested and charged in relation to a homicide earlier this month in Regina. Police responded to this home at 12th Avenue and Winnipeg Street on the morning of November 1st for a report of a man with a gunshot wound. The 19-year-old died at the scene. A 16-year-old boy is now facing charges, including one for second-degree murder. A 44-year-old man and a 17-year-old girl have been charged with accessory after the fact to murder. All 3 made their first court appearances Monday morning. The provincial government is investing more than $3 million for policing in Prince Albert. The province says the funding will support 26 new positions within the Prince Albert Police Service. That includes officers focused on crime reduction, internet child exploitation, and trafficking. The city's police chief says the investment will help police stay ahead of crime in the community.
The quicker that we can respond, the more thorough and accurate our investigations are, the quicker that we charge people for committing crime in our communities, and the longer that they stay behind bars, will have a deterrence that will prevent people from coming to Prince Albert to do crime.
Nogier says the funding will help the service focus more on prevention and rebuild community confidence in local policing. Earlier this year, we brought you the story of several Afghan scholars hoping to come to the University of Regina. Dozens of women are facing deportation from Qatar after the closure of the U.S. aid program ended their scholarships there. But some have now made it to Regina. Katie Swires has their story.
These 3 women were once at risk of being deported back to Afghanistan. Now, their long journey to safety ends with hugs and a meeting months in the making. In January, they'll be able to start classes at the University of Regina.
Well, the moment they landed, the sun shined. It was a new day. Christmas came in early.
After months of trying to get these women to safety, Reza Ye was finally able to meet them in person in Regina. Their arrival was a big relief for all.
It was like a feeling of achievement and feeling of safety. And I know like where I'm standing, I'm in a safe land and I'm in a land of right and freedoms.
Together with the U of R and others, Reza Ye's group was able to raise over $800,000. That's enough money to bring up to 30 women to Saskatchewan. But between political red tape and Canada's cap on international students, getting these 3 here has not been easy.
These women were really in limbo in many cases, and there's a number who are still in limbo.
Dozens more women are still abroad, most with precarious immigration statuses. Thanks to the fundraising efforts, the U of R says it has the money and space to bring many more over. Right now, 3 more women are waiting for visas.
There's always the chance that in a day or 2 that they might get the notices, I'm sorry, but you can't stay here any longer and you have to go home.
Those who have made it to Regina are excited to finally attend classes again after so much uncertainty.
I hope they get all of them here because it's beyond and more than education. It's life-changing point for all of us.
And they say they have not forgotten their friends who are still waiting to come. Katie Swires, CBC News, Regina.
The University of Saskatchewan Huskies football team have beat their rival University of Regina Rams in the Hardy Cup a year after they lost that same game to the Rams. Down 24-9 at the start of the 4th quarter, the Huskies staged a dramatic comeback. The Dogs scored 2 touchdowns within minutes of each other to put them within 2 points of the Rams. A late field goal from Lucas Scott sealed the deal as the Huskies squeaked by with a 25-24 win. The team will now play in the Mitchell Bowl against Queen's University. The Huskies head coach says his team will spend plenty of time prepping beforehand and adapting at game time.
I think a lot of, just in my history with it early in the game is just trying to get a feel for exactly what's going on. I know they're well coached. They're going to be disciplined. I feel like our coaching staff does a great job too. So it's going to come down to some execution bit, but you really don't know until you step on the field, till you feel, some of the differences between conference play and just the opponents as well.
The Mitchell Bowl goes Saturday at 2 p.m. at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. And a last-minute field goal also secured victory for the Saskatoon Hilltops. The team won the Canadian Junior Football League Championship Sunday with a 21-18 win over the Okanagan Sun. This is the Toppers' 24th CJFL championship win. Stay with us. We're back after the break. Welcome back. With Remembrance Day approaching, it's an opportunity to honor those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom, as well as those who live to tell their stories. Darla Panes introduces us to 91-year-old James MacArthur, who talks about his experience fighting in 2 wars as a young man.
This small pack here is where I carried 8 vials of morphine.
At 91, James MacArthur can still recall small details about his time serving in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. A member of Pheasant Rump Nakota Nation, MacArthur enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces at just 17. He understood the significance of this action, coming from a long line of war heroes.
I joined the Army in 1951, I think. And I got out in 1955, July 1955.
MacArthur was 21 when he returned home from Korea with medals for bravery. And after nearly a decade, he re-enlisted with the U.S. Army, serving in Vietnam.
And I went to Vietnam November 1966. I was there and I came back. Then I went back again in 68. And I came back home in January 1969.
Serving as a medic, MacArthur earned the Army Commendation Medal for heroism after rescuing 6 U.S. soldiers from a burning tank. His son, Pheasant Rump Chief Ira MacArthur, is inspired by his father's bravery.
I still can't imagine having to leave home, going halfway around the world and serving in the conditions that my father had served in, both in Korea and Vietnam. So me and my siblings are really proud of him.
He says it's important to honor the sacrifices made by veterans, whether they died in service or survived to share their experiences.
When my great-grandparents sent their sons over there, they recognized that this wasn't just about Canada, and it wasn't just about, whatever war, whatever countries were immediately involved in the war. It was more about, us as humanity.
James can still remember a conversation he had with his grandmother before departing for his second tour of war.
My grandmother said, during the early 1960s, there said, honor your uncles till as far as you can go.
He'll continue to remember his uncles and everyone he fought alongside, especially the ones who are no longer alive. Darla Panes, CBC News, Pheasant Rump, Nakota Nation.
And CBC will have coverage of the National Remembrance Day ceremony from Ottawa on Tuesday. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, that is 9 a.m. our time. You can watch on CBC TV, CBC Gem, or anywhere you stream us. Well, for a lot of us, we really got a taste of winter over the weekend with those very cold temperatures, but that is over now. Look at that, still 7 degrees over the supper hour in Regina. Weather specialist Riley Lachuk is with us now to tell us if this warmth is going to continue. Hi, Riley.
Well, thank you, Ethan. We'll talk temperatures in just a moment because, I mean, some of us have been well above seasonal for this time of the year. I did want to start with a freezing rain warning that's in place for the northeastern corner of the province. Some cooler air back to the west in Manitoba, interacting with some warmer air with an area of low pressure over the territories, creating a good mix for some freezing precipitation. As we see temperatures warming slightly, we should see this dropped, I think, as we get into the overnight hours tonight. So here's the setup that we've been under. Bit of clearing throughout the afternoon hours through south and central. I know a bit of a cloudier start in the southeastern part of the province and some clouds starting to build back to the west once again. So perhaps a bit unsettled as we get through for some parts of the province the next 24 hours or so here. We'll get into some of the details. First, a look at temperatures through the afternoon hours, and quite the spread up to 0 in Collins Bay today. This is where we have seen some of that freezing precipitation throughout parts of the day today. Compare that to Maple Creek at 19 degrees. So yes, quite the spread. Usually Regina, Saskatoon, much of south and central should be around the freezing mark for this time of the year. So well above seasonal. The setup that we have is a pretty deep Arctic ridge that has formed in the jet stream, encompassing a good chunk of Manitoba right through Ontario and parts of Quebec. Just look at some of the temperature comparison here through the afternoon hours. 12 in Edmonton, 15 in Calgary, 10s through Regina and Saskatoon, -3 in Toronto this afternoon. So you can really tell we're seeing some of that cooler air pushing in, which is interacting with some of that warmer air just to the west here. So look at satellite and radar as we go through into the next 24 hours or so. We are still under some cloud cover through central and northern parts of the province. Could see into the northeastern corner, maybe even a few flurries possible, although temperatures will warm as we get through the overnight hours. Into Tuesday, looking at a mix of sun and clouds, a bit of cloud here and there, maybe a couple of odd scattered showers out of some of this, but generally speaking, pretty decent weather conditions as we head through the day on Tuesday. Sun and clouds as we head into Wednesday. Once again, high pressure starts to set in and tries to clear us out as we get through the next couple of days or so here. So just prepare for a bit of cloud cover in northeastern parts of the province, maybe some freezing precipitation changing to some rain. I'm not expecting any major accumulations, but just know that the threat is there as we get through the next day or so. Winds will be the story as we start to introduce this warmer air mass into parts of the province. So as we get into the day on Tuesday, looking at winds starting to pick up and stay gusty as we get into the morning hours, gusting up to 40 or so, particular even up to 50 into parts of eastern Saskatchewan around the Parkland, for example. So prepare for a windy couple of days ahead. Your long range looks like this. For Regina, Wednesday, looking at a breezy 8 degrees, sun and clouds. Sun and clouds for Wednesday into Thursday at 8 degrees as well. Another breezy day on the way for Thursday. We'll try for 11 degrees into Friday for Regina. For Saskatoon, looking at 6 into Wednesday, Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, Ethan. Maybe a few showers into Friday and temperatures remaining above seasonal.
Yeah, winter is nowhere in sight. Thank you so much, Riley. Well, a major road in Regina's downtown has reopened after construction, but that doesn't mean there won't be more traffic disruptions in the future. The city says it has wrapped up its major construction work on 11th Avenue for the season. It's now reopened to traffic between Albert and Broad Streets. The city spent a good chunk of this year rebuilding the road, sidewalks, and upgrading lighting and underground infrastructure. But there's still another year of work to be done. The city says that will resume in the spring. In the meantime, it is keeping bus stops off of 11th Avenue, so you'll still have to catch the bus in alternate locations.
Have you been aware? You've got brothers or sisters who care about what's gonna happen to you in a year from now. Say I'll be there to shake your hand. Say I'll be there to share the land. They'll be giving away when we all live together. Talking about together now.
Yes, guess who is back? That is right. After 23 years, Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman will share a stage again. The Guess Who are embarking on a Canadian tour next year. Pre-sale tickets for the Taking It Back tour go on sale Tuesday and on Friday for the general public. The tour starts in Moncton on May 26th with a stop in Saskatoon on June 6th at SaskTel Centre before wrapping it up in Edmonton on June 10th. Stay with us. We've got more news and a final look at the forecast after the break. Welcome back. A new development power for the province's natural resource minister is being welcomed by the mining industry. An act introduced in the legislature last week would give the minister the power to designate a subsurface development area. It's all related to mining, and it would allow companies to apply to access mineral rights if the owners cannot be located.
Well, I think this is one of those rare instances where it's a win for everybody. It's a win because we're able to mine more efficiently, which means it's more cost effective for industry. It's a win for government because they will receive royalties.
Saskatchewan's natural resources minister can also declare a development area if reasonable efforts to negotiate an agreement have been exhausted. She says the new legislation, which is expected to pass in the legislature, will provide stability and certainty for the mining industry and secure royalties that would have gone otherwise untouched.
All right, having a look at your forecast as we head overnight into Tuesday morning. Still relatively cloudy across parts of the province, and that's going to help keep temperatures above seasonal for overnight conditions. I mean, typically we should be around -8 or so for an overnight temperature, but looking at -1 in Regina, 0 in Saskatoon, even +1 in Maple Creek overnight. So some warmth still to be had in parts of the province. Maybe a few showers, couple of stray flurries, some mixed precipitation along the northeastern side of the province. Pelican Narrows at 0, Cumberland House at 1 degree overnight tonight. As we head into the day on Tuesday, looking at sunshine returning for many across the north tomorrow, looking at 2 degrees in Buffalo Narrows, in La Loche by the time we get to lunchtime, topping out around 3 or 4 for the afternoon. Pelican Narrows getting into some sunshine, and again a bit cloudier, maybe a few flurries, and breezy into the northeastern part of the province. In the south, as we head through the day on Tuesday, mainly sunny skies, a bit of cloud cover in and out here and there, but temperatures well above seasonal for this time of the year. Ethan, Maple Creek at 10 degrees, Regina, Saskatoon topping out around 8 tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, hard to believe it is November. Okay, thank you, Riley. And that is our news for this Monday. For more news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel. You can also download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. We are back on Wednesday. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you then.